Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. In this video I'm going to share with you a new template, and I'm going to try to get through this without being too confusing because I tend to talk over myself. So my new template here is called Mini 31, and the reason why it's called Mini 31 is that this same base shape here is the same as template 31. Now the reason why I didn't bundle the regular template 31 with this one is because this one is solely for anybody who has a Cricut or Silhouette Cameo or any sort of cutting machine. I do not recommend this for anyone who has a PDF. These mini templates are made to be smaller, hence the mini, and the petals are a little bit too intricate to cut by hand. I don't want to exclude anyone from using it if they want to. If you'd like to try the PDF, just send me an email. However, I just think that it's easier for someone to use it who has a cutting machine and wants to make this in larger volume. It's meant to be a small template. Now, it is template 31, but I'm calling it mini, so I actually am sort of thinking it as a whole new template. And the base shape here is actually this one here. It has 8 petals, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my main sort of SVG shape, whatever you want to call it, PNG. This is the one that I've made specifically for this flower or for this template. However, I just thought that when you're making flowers, everyone has a sort of preference that they prefer. Like some people want flowers to look like this, whereas other people may like flowers like this or that. So this is why I have all these flowers here. Everyone has a different preference, and if I were to say which one I like best, I actually like these best, but someone may like these. So I actually posted these a while ago, and people tended to respond to these flowers more than they did with these. Because of that, I thought that using that same base shape, I can create different number of petals for each shape here. So I'm going to use those words interchangeably. So I'm kind of using words interchangeably. What I mean is each shape has a different number of petals. That petal shape is just repeated in a different number. So this one has 5, this one has 6, 7, and then 8. 8 is what I'm going to carry forward as my main shape, and these are just sort of extras that I've included if you want to make different looking flowers or if you have a certain preference. Now, the reason why I have all these flowers here is all these flowers here on this row are made with the 8 petal shape. This one has a 7 petal shape. These are made with a 6 petal shape, and these are made with the 5 petal shape. Overall, they kind of look the same. You really cannot distinguish that much between rows here. So of course you can distinguish between these here, and they're obviously different colors and they're made differently. But between the rows, they all look somewhat the same. The reason why I've done that is because if you're not interested in any of these, you can go ahead and just use one of them, any one that you like. However, there are small little details that I personally notice that are different between the flowers. So of course the 5 petal shape and the 8 petal shape. This one has more sort of detail. It looks more like a flower here. And this one for me than this one. So I tend to prefer the 8 petal shape versus even the 5 petal shape. All of this is to say that I've included all of these as a package only because I think that everyone has a right to different choices that they like, and so those are included as a package. So for the third time, I am focusing mainly on this 8 petal shape. It's the one that I gravitate most towards. So I can make other tutorials down the road of different looking flowers. I'm mainly focusing on this one here since these are the flowers that most people responded to. They like this one best over these other two. So in summary, because I'm trying to rush through this, I feel like this is a lot of talking. I have 4 different shapes. They're all template 31, and they're all counted as one template. I'm going to be listing this in my Etsy shop. So moving on, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the template. Each template is just the shape here. So these are all included as SVG, a PNG, a Studio 3 file, a DXF file. Those are all there. I do include a PDF with a sizing chart. So I think it's best to size this template in 1/4 inch increments. So for instance, 4 inches wide, 4.25 inches wide, 4.5 inches wide. So those are how I've sized each petal. You can do whatever you like with the template if you want. However, those are my suggested sizing. I just think mini templates are easier to size in 1/4 inch increments for this one particularly. Today I'm going to mostly focus on this type of flower as I've mentioned. So I'm going to push these to the side. And in this flower, I am using so here I have a 5-inch wide petal. I have 6 of these because what I like to count as one layer is 2 pieces together. So if I can grab it, when you take one piece and then you overlap it with the other one, but then you just offset it by a bit so that this petal is in between the petals from the previous layer, I count that as one layer. So it has 3 layers, and that builds a lot of sort of dimension here on the outside. Having the same size petal will push these leaves here up higher. So I have 6 of these, and these are 5-inch wide, as I mentioned. I also have 2 petals, or 1 layer, of 4.75 wide. This is 4.5 inches wide, again 2 petals, 1 layer. And then one last layer of 4.25 inches wide, 2 petals. So I count every 2 petals as 1 layer. And in terms of just prepping the petals, it's super easy here. All I do is just curl the petals like that. So I do this for every single petal on each shape. If you have some sort of rod or glue gun, if you have some sort of rod or glue stick, this would actually make it a lot easier. So once I have all the petals curled, what I'd like to do is I like to bend the petal at this base. So I usually bend it back, it's the easiest way. So I bend it back, and I do this for every single petal. This will help the shape of the petals sit upright and move around a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curl every single petal here, and I'm going to push some of this off to the side because I feel that it's a little too busy, and we'll go from there. Okay, so everything here is curled, and all that is needed to be done from here is just to glue them together. So I take 2 pieces, and I'm going to add glue in the center, and then overlay the second petal, and that is my first layer. So I'm going to do that for every single petal here. Again, I am making sure that I'm offsetting by having this petal here on your top layer in between the petals from the previous layer. So for this template, it's mostly prepping the petals. There really isn't a whole lot of gluing. And I always usually say this is best done in front. If you're doing another activity, like maybe watching your favorite show, you can always just curl a lot of the petals and then glue your flowers together later. That really makes it sort of quick. So I have one last layer here. And I'm sure you can guess the next thing is just to glue all these petal layers together. So using my first layer, I'm going to add the second layer on top, and I'm matching it up, matching that bottom piece with the petal from the previous layer. So it sort of starts at one position, and then, so if I can explain this clearly, here's the first petal piece, and then I've overlaid the other one in between the petals from the previous layer. So this one fits in between here. When I glue the second piece on top, I'm matching that bottom piece with the one from before. So it just oscillates back and forth, and then I'm just going to glue them on top of each other like that. And what happens is, because the petals are all the same size, so all of these 6 pieces are the same size, when you press this down, these petals here are forced up like that, and it creates a lot of sort of dimension here, and it looks really nice, I think. So then I'm just going to add the next layers in the same way. It makes it easier to think. Your bottom piece of your petal layer, that should always go between the petals in the previous layer. at least for this style. And then my last layer here. And this one, I want to make sure that I get it right in the center. What I do is I just push it close together like this. So I just gather a bunch of petals and then press at the base, and it creates more of a closed sort of center there. And I just have some centers here. These are the same centers that I used in my poinsettia flower, and I am also including it with this template here. I'm going to try to include a number of different centers that might help vary the different looks that you'll get in your flower. So here I'm just gluing these together like this, pushing them together in a ball. And so I cut out 4 pieces. You can cut out as many as you like. Like that. So this I'm just going to glue to the center of this flower, like that. So it creates a nice center in the middle. So let me know down below in the comments whether you have any questions or any suggestions that you might have. I did sort of rush through this video fairly quickly because it didn't require a 30-minute tutorial like my last video. So best way to contact me is either email or an Etsy message. I will be leaving the Etsy link to this listing down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.